Hey y'all, Cookster here. Guess what we're doing in this video? Right, chimp. Alright, it's in here. Sorry, I'm eating a peanut M&M's. Alright, so it's in here. Now, I've mentioned before, I don't know who's watched what video I've made, so I'll just kind of give you the brief once over. I've never worked on one of these. This is my first Model A, 32, 31, anything that I've ever worked on. I may have worked on one a long time ago, but it's been so far back, and it was a small little sheet metal repair. But as far as doing any real work, I'll just say this is the first one I've ever worked on, and we'll call it even. So there's a lot I don't know about these cars. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos over the last year and a half, trying to learn as much about how these cars are put together and that kind of stuff. I will say again, if you don't remember or haven't seen, this is not going to be a traditional build. This is a street rod, hot rod. I think I already showed you. There's the rear tires. So big fat rear tires. Now I do know that some traditionals had big tires, but this is going street rod. I've already done a video laying out a lot of my high level plans. I'm not going to stand here and go into that again. I'll link that video in the description and maybe put a link up here somewhere if you want to go watch that. But for now, I'm just going to start doing teardown. I'm going to put the camera on and let it run, and let's see how much I can get into before I get in trouble as far as tearing down. I want to get the front end sheet metal off. I want to get the fenders off, the running boards. I think this is an original bumper, so I want to try to save that. Also, I mentioned before, if you haven't seen that video, then I'm not using the Model A frame. I'm going to put it on a 32 frame that I'm going to build. Yes, I'm going to build a 32 frame. So at some point, I would assume I'm going to try to sell this entire Model A frame, running gear, drivetrain. The engine is in the car somewhere, but it's in pieces. Let me see if I can pop the hood. Come on. I don't want to open, so either I'm doing something wrong or something is rusted up. Let me try the other side. Yeah, there's the block. Somebody the previous owner, whoever, had pulled the head off. The head's in the car somewhere, supposedly. I got to get in there and look. But there's the original. I guess it's the original Model A 4-banger, but I obviously am not going to be reusing that. So as I said, at some point, I think I'm going to try to sell the entire Model A frame, the running gear, all the original stuff, to somebody that might want it, because I certainly won't be needing it. One of the first things I want to do body-wise is try to get this, or not try, is get the fuel tank out and see if it's any good. Number one, I'm not going to be using the fuel tank in this build. I'm either going to put one behind the seat or in the back or under or the sideboards or something. So I'm not going to be putting the fuel tank, using the stock fuel tank. So if this tank is good, I really hate to cut it up, because you guys that know Model A's, let me get back around to the other side. The Model A guys, you know how the fuel tank comes down, and there's the original gauge cluster and all still sitting right there, and the tank's down up under the dash. Well, I don't want to use any of that. I want to make a new dash and maybe, or a 32 dash, or do something. What I don't want to do, if that fuel tank is good, I don't want to cut it all up and hack it up, because there are people, I think, out there that still need a stock tank in good condition. I don't know yet if this one is or is not in good condition. I'm saying there's a chance it is, because this car is in pretty good shape. I mean, it's not a mint, it's not a cream puff, obviously, but That car's out there in way worse shape. So I'm going to get the fuel tank out and see what kind of shape that's in. Obviously, I have to clean out the interior, which is, you know, there's all kind of stuff in here, stuff in the back. So this has all got to be cleaned out, obviously. So as far as the body, there's definitely rust in both cowl bottoms right here. This driver's fender is in way worse condition than I remembered. It's got a big old dent right here, which dents don't scare me. I can fix dents. But it's rusted through right here. Got a pretty good piece of rust right there. This edge is all hacked up. So if you remember in my other video, I talked about lengthening the wheelbase about 4 inches, which would mean doing something to the fenders, either in the rear or the back. I do want to keep fenders on the car. With the 32 frame though, these kind of fenders won't work. So I may either have to buy 32 fenders, modify these. This one's in enough bad shape. If I had to cut this one up and hack it up, I wouldn't feel too bad. Have to figure out the running boards. This rear fender's beat up. Got a pretty good dent right there. And then in the back, this is I think that's the aftermarket bumper. I don't think that's stock. I bent this with the Bobcat, my bad. But I don't think it's stock anyway. And then there's a place in the roof I wanted to show you. This fender is not horrible. It's savable, I think. There's a place in the roof right here. Can I ride the running board? Let's try here without falling. Yeah, so there's a big dent right here in the roof. But these panels themselves, there is rust right here. So I may or may not be having to make new roof panels. I know this, I can fix dents. I mean, that's what I do. But I do want to make a roof insert. I talked about that before, which will be an interesting challenge because I've never done it before. I'd like to put a not a headliner, what do you call those things? Sun visor. A visor up here on these cars. I think they look cool on these cars. So I don't know if visors were stock on all of them or it was an option or what, but I do think the visors on these cars look cool. So either I have to try to buy one or make one or something. There's the rust I said again in the lower cowl right there. This fender's in much better shape, although this is filler or lead. So there's something happened right here. This is that same indentation is right here, so maybe that's not a dent. Maybe they're made that way. Now, I don't know that either way, so I'm a Model A noob for sure. But the front of the fender looks to be in a lot better shape. The grill is in really good shape. I had no idea these things had stainless grills from the factory. This grill's in really good shape. So one of you guys at some point should be able to, if you want it, maybe buy this stainless grill from me. It's in, like I said, it's in amazing shape. I guess that's factory. Again, you Model A experts will know if that's a factory option or somebody added it later. The entire front suspension is coming out. I'm replacing it with all new stuff. I think I talked about that in my other video. This thing actually still steers. When I was moving it the other day, I mean, I can grab a steering wheel and nothing's bound up. It steers. The rear tires, I just put air in the rear tires. Hell, they're holding air. So I can roll the car back and forth, you know, in here by hand. Now that I got air in the rear tires till I get it tore down. I have all 4 of the original wheels. 2 of them, the other 2 are outside. The tires are shredded. They're trash. And of course, these are not any good either, but they do hold air enough to, you know, for pushing it back and forth in the shop. Let me back off, see if I can. I mean, there's what we're starting with right there. Let me back on up. So 31 Model A 4-door sedan. Don't do that. Let's start some teardown. I'm gonna cut the camera on, do some fast forwarding, and let's start some teardown. Yee freaking ha! Woohoo! All right, I'm gonna see if I can get the rear bumper off, get the grill out, the headlight bars, that kind of stuff. Kind of start at the front and work my way back. And again, I've never done this before, so if I stand there and scratch my head a few minutes, just give me a pass. I gotta learn. came out on its own. That's a good sign, I guess. Or nut. Most of you guys, even you guys who are doing this for a job, y'all are all using electric tools. I got my old school tools here, baby. This is my butterfly from back in the 80s. Works like a champ. Alright, little bumper's off, loose. So, first task is done successfully. Alright, one Model A bumper. So, I don't know if I'll try to reuse this bumper or not either. One day. My guess is not. Whoops. Okay. My guess is I won't, but you never know. There's the bumper off. I'll figure out where to store all that stuff later. Let's see if I can get the headlight bars to loosen up. Oh, that don't feel good. I think we're in trouble on this. All these bolts under here are all gone. They're trashed. They're rusted out, trashed up. So I might have to be cutting some stuff off. Stripped out, so I guess I can pull the seal beam off and get down in there. The one over here, the nut's completely gone again, so let me see, maybe I got that one out because the nut's gone. I'm not sure how that works. I see it spring loaded, it probably just pops down. Like I said, I'm a newbie to this. You guys are probably sitting there watching and laughing at me because I don't know what I'm doing on this Model A. See if I can get this to pop out. Open, whatever. There it goes. There's the headlight ring. Does that come off? That little ring comes off. Okay. And then screws hold the headlight bucket in. Yep, if one's going to be rusty, it's the one in the bottom. This will be 2 of the 3 out, so just that one in the bottom gonna give me trouble. Some of y'all probably wondering why I'm doing this like this, not just cutting this stuff out of here. Well, I don't want to tear it up, number one, because this might be useful to somebody if I don't reuse it myself. And the other thing is I don't know anything about these cars, so I'm learning as I go. I gotta get this bottom screw out and it's rusted. The screwdriver that I want is not out here right now. It's in my other shop. But I gotta quit now anyway. So I'll be back out here tomorrow and we'll pick up and see what we get. So bye for now. See you tomorrow. So back for another day of teardown on the Model A. It's turned a little bit cool, so as you can tell. I've already got a screw here on this headlight bucket that doesn't want to come out, so within the first hour I got to get a torch out. I knew I would. as I mentioned yesterday, I'm trying not to tear this stuff up. Anything that I may want to use in the future, or maybe try to sell to somebody. So I'm trying to be real careful taking this thing apart. And this is my first Model A teardown, so I'm learning and not knowing what I'm doing as I go. Anyway, trying to get this screw out, so I'll add some heat to the situation and see what happens. This tip's pretty big for this little screw, but it's the one I grabbed, so it's the one I grabbed. So let's see. This should work. We'll find out here in a minute. If my back's to the camera, I apologize. Just can't be done to do anything about it. Alright. Got it. Got a little bit of heat. I never even got the screw red. I just got the heat on it. That's all it took. The screw's loose. I think it just stripped out. So it just does not work there. Damn. There's a little bugger right there. You can't see him, but screw. Alright, so let's continue on. Now I got to get this strip bolt out. It's just sitting there doing the sit and spin. I'm not going to reuse any of this. Is it worth something to an original guy? I don't know. Probably not. It's got the old rope looking wiring on it. Hell, that's probably the damn original wiring. What do you guys think? 1931? Let me put some heat on it. I might get lucky. Switch over to the Rosebud for this one. That stud's pretty big. It's a 3/8 volt or bigger, looks like. Actually bigger, I think. Did it! Alright, I'm 2 for 2 so far on the hot wrench nuts. Okay, there's that. So if I go to fix this for myself, I'm sure you guys probably already know the drill. I don't know, I might could actually fix the bottom right here, tap it back down, clean the threads off so they won't rust anymore. Might actually be able to reuse it. So again, some of you guys that know, let's see, this has got a Ford stamping on it. I guess this stainless bucket is a factory deal. So that's cool. Looks to be in really good shape too. If I was to polish this up, it would look good. So I gotta decide if I want to use this or not. I don't have any idea. That's way, way, way down the line. So now I want to get this headlight bar off. One nut on this side is still there. I think what I'm going to do is just grind the head off from the top side. That's hot. Before I pick it up, barehanded. I think I'll just grind this nut off, this bolt head off from the top side. The bottom one I'll see, so let's set up for that. There's any number of ways to grind these bolts off. I'm just gonna use my little 3-inch roll up. It's here. It works. Yeah. Bolts. I won't put you through the torture of watching that. So let me get those other 3 bolts off, and then we'll do the next thing. All right, I got the headlight bar off. I did nick it a little bit more than I'd like with my grinder. But it's not horrible. If you can't see it, if I was ever to have this re-chromed, which is doubtful. Well, not re-chromed, chromed, because this looks like it was painted black from the factory. They would clean this up, no problem. Anyway, it's off. There's their carriage bolts. Here's the carriage bolt head where I ground it off. And then you can see how much of the bolt is not left. And then the nut, you know, it's completely gone. And here's the other side. All right, so now I want to get the hood off. And again, you experts already know these things. 2 rivets right here holding this little clamp on that holds the bar on for the hood. And I guess that's factory. But being as that they're rivets, so they're a pain in the butt to deal with. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this, and I guess the best way I know of is to grind them off. Let me try all this just to get the, wait a minute. Wait. Does the hood pull out from the back? Wait, hold on. Because the back, it's just free floating. I learned something. I bet half of y'all will sit there yelling at the screen, "Don't do that, dummy, the hood pulls out from the back." Thankfully, I thought of it. Smart, kinda. All right, hood's off. Oh. So I'll get back in here next and figure out how the radiator mounts so I can get that out. So I want to take this shell off at some point, but I guess I'll probably get the radiator out of there and then go from there. I'm not going to tear it down now, there's no need to, but one of these days. Alright, so let me figure the radiator out and I'll come back. So I forgot to cut the camera on, but by some miracle I was able to get the 2 nuts on the bottom of those radiator studs where the springs are to loosen the radiator up. So that's a miracle, number 1 or 2 or whatever. So I think, look at that. I got wires in the way, so I forgot the clip. Let me gotta grab a pair of side cutters and knot. Another wire. Well, how about that? Alright, it's out. This damn thing's heavy too. That's a heavy radiator. There's, well, you can't see. Hold on, let me pan down. Can you? There's the inside of the core. I don't see any nicks or marks, no leak marks. I guess there's obviously an inlet here. I mean, there's a inlet or outlet here and one at the bottom. They look in great shape. There's actually 3. So it tells you how much about these fork bangers I know. There's a neck here, a neck there, and a neck there. And then the front side looks really, really good. I bet this radiator is in good shape. So I imagine I'll probably be selling this to somebody down the road. Alright, next thing I think I want to try to do is get these inner fenders, or not inner fenders, get the fenders off. At some point I'll pull the bumper brackets off because they're in my way. I'm going to start tripping over them. But it'd be easier to get to those nuts, bolts with the fenders off, if I can get the fenders off. I already see those front two bolts. The back side of those is rusted away. There's screws here. I'm gonna wind up having to cut or grind all that mess off. Alright, I'm gonna start by grinding these bolt heads off. And then we'll have to go from there. Again, using my little roll lock disc and again using 3-inch roll lock in the 36. I like using these little discs. They're easy to get into small places. You could use a bigger one, obviously. There's a multitude of ways to do this. It's just how I'm doing it today. Somebody put a flathead screw in that one over there and it's sunk down into the fender, so I can't grind it out. So I could cut it from the back side, but I'm not quite sure I can get to it. I'm gonna try drilling it through the top. It's a brass screw they put in there, which, I mean, okay, whatever. There it goes. Now I would have said that wasn't possible when I first started, but how about that? Okay. Alright, so that's 2 bolts. I see screws and all back down through here, which again, I'm learning. Hell, well, that's turning. Alright. I mean, as long as this stuff wants to cooperate, I will certainly. Now, I don't know if that's factory or not. That looks like a 1032 screw. Hold on, I'll show you. So that's the screw that was holding the, come on, focus. That's the screw that was holding the hood clamp thing you do with your. It's like a either a 1024 or a 1032 panhead screw. Panhead? Yeah, panhead. Flathead. Is that factory? I don't know. So for those of you that don't know, there's that little hood clip doodad. There's a cotter pin goes through here that holds it to the clamp, and the screw head's right under the cotter pin, so you can't turn the screw head. I mean, so far the fasteners aren't fighting me too much. Now, I worked on cars from the 70s that put them up a bigger fight than this. 70s and 80s. Yeah. I hope I didn't just. Now I hope I didn't just jinx myself saying that. Hey, you 31 Model A experts, tell me if these little lights are factory or if somebody added these, or if it's a Ford option or what. I'm just curious. Don't know if these are factory or not. I believe these screws, well, I know they are. They're coated with something. They're either CAD plated or not chrome. They're either CAD or zinc plated. And that's one reason they haven't rusted so bad. I'm almost certain. Nope. I might have to get under the car to get these out. One arm. Maybe. Yeah, new pliers. I would grab a wrench, but I don't have a wrench, and the pliers are right here. And they work, so pliers it is. Ow! That's my finger. In case you don't know it, this butterfly's got a whole lot more torque than my little electric driver. There you go. Look, impact wrench. My little electric driver, wherever it's at, is not an impact. It doesn't have much torque. It's just a driver, basically. Drive screws and stuff like that. All right, so my butterfly here's got a whole hell of a lot more torque than that thing does. And I've had this thing for a long time. Still works. There we go. Alright, I'm going to try to get the fenders off. There's bolts. Again, I'll stop saying it soon. You experts know. There's bolts right here on the splash apron and I think the running board, which is by the way a handmade piece. I'll show you later. It's not stock, factory. Also, like 90% of you guys watching me, no lifts here at Cookster's Garage. So I'm gonna crawl on the floor on a piece of cardboard the same way you guys are doing it. If I ever get monetized, a lift is one of the things I'd like to be able to buy, but that's way down the road. So anyway, let me try to get these bolts out and see how bad they fight me. You really can't see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna show it anyway because it's a teardown video, right? Right. So this time I'm using my snap-on air ratchet. This is a high torque air ratchet. Probably very similar to the electric ones you guys are using nowadays. I want to get one of those too, by the way, one of those Milwaukee ones. They look really nice. Anyway, this fender's off. I'm gonna pull the other fender off and then figure out what I'm going to do next. I want to tackle that gas tank, but I don't believe I can get in there to it yet until I clean out the inside of the car. But anyway, that's it for now. Alright, if I remember correctly, these screws up through here are part of what's holding the gas tank onto the car firewall. I need to figure out how this stainless molding comes off this cowl, because I don't want to tear it up. I don't know if it's got screws on the inside. Well, it couldn't, because it's got to come off before the tank comes off. So it's got to pop off somehow. I just don't know how. So let me see if these screws will try to come out. I'm not trying to take the whole thing apart now. I just want to see if they'll turn. Alright, those won't turn. I'm going to get the torch out for right quick. But, by the way, there's no gas in that tank, so you ain't got to worry about that. So, if I can get this done, we can out. There goes. This is a long process. I just want to do it to take a here. Then wait. That's actually really close to it. That's actually just wait. Go here. Here. I'm trying not to tell you I'm saying that. But I'm going to use it. I'm trying not to tell you. Sure. That's too hard. Let me get my die grinder and just cut a little notch in that one right there. The slot in that screw has closed up, been molested and collapsed on itself. So I'm just going to open it up a little bit. At least try to. Now see if I can get a screwdriver in there. That's a pretty good trick. I know y'all ever seen that before. Oh, there we go. Alright, what am I doing here? There's nothing. Probably over. There's no. I'll try to get to it. Do a good. There it goes. Alright, back. I can get it. There we go. Alright, let's get this. So there's a handful of those screws out. That's how I do it with a torch and sometimes a grinder. So I'm going to keep working on all these screws around the rest of the firewall and the cowl. I'm not going to make you sit through all that. And then I got to pull that fender off. So for me, that's probably it for today. Alright, so I'm going to call that the end of Model A Teardown Day 1. So next time we come back, I'll have the other fender off, and I'll have all these rest of the cowl bolts, screws out of the cowl and the firewall. Hopefully next video I'm going to try and take the gas tank out. I'm almost certain I have to get inside the car, and there's some bolts in there. And I've got to clean the car out to even be able to get in there. The doors are, that door I think is stuck. This one it opens, but I'm not sure how good it opens. Okay, it does open. But I've got to get cleaned out where I can even get inside the car. I may even pull the doors off. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. But anyway, that's the end. Like I said, that's the end of Teardown Day 1. So I had a whole long spiel and just I've lost it. Alright, so that's the end of Model A Teardown Day 1. Next video I'll have the fender off. I should have all the screws out of the firewall and the gas tank, and be trying to pull the gas tank out. I've got to get inside the car. I've got to clean the car out. I haven't cleaned anything out of this car yet since I bought it, to even be able to get in there and get to this stuff. I've got to do some YouTube research. Got to figure out how to pull this stainless molding off. I don't want to ruin it. And then we'll be going from there. So hope you enjoyed that. I hope you guys, you Model A guys, you Model Bs, 31, 32s, whatever, street rod guys. Some of y'all probably laughing at me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with these cars, but I'm learning. I'll learn. So come back. You know, hope you guys will stick around and come back. I got a lot of plans for this car. Like I said, I'm gonna put a roof insert in here. Probably gonna make a firewall. May wind up making a cowl top, gas tank top. Maybe some fenders, new fenders or fixed fenders, running boards. I got a lot of work I want to do to this car. A lot of sheet metal work, a lot of fab work. Metal shaping, we'll call it. So I hope you guys will come back and stick with me on the journey. So anyway, that's enough rambling. I'm yapping again. So I'm Cookster's Garage. Be sure and do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, share, notification bell, all that business. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now, you hear? Happy Model A time. Content creators, always press the record button. It works better that way. Definitely.